This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on? I am Scrooge Bronson,
And I am S. Foster.
and this is the Viewers Anonymous podcast. What's going on, brother?
Whew. It's been a couple of days, my guy. You know what I'm saying? But everybody have them. But you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it's pod day. It's pod day. Time to get it in. And the thing is,
yeah.
what we got lined up today, shit, crazy. But anyway, man, how about you, man? How you been feeling?
I've been alright, man. You know what I'm saying? Same here. Same crazy couple days, man. But pushing through. Can't complain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel you, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, that's how it be out here in the world, man. I see you out there, you know what I'm saying, at the b-ball game,
Oh yeah,
scolding, you know what I'm
definitely
saying?
back at the baseball field, man.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Kept
Hot
getting a
than a
couple of
mother.
shades darker.
What? Couple shades. I told you, man. By the end of the summer, bro, I'm be your color, man.
That's gonna be too funny, but it's like, hey, cause it's like, dude, when you see a person and it's like the motherfuckers just change colors on your ass cause you so used to
Man,
them being a certain color, dude, man, if you become my shade, but that's gonna be hilarious. But you ain't even gonna look right. You ain't gonna be Scoots Bronson no more.
I'm telling you, bro. It's ridiculous, man. I've been out in the sun all day long, man. By the time I got to work, they was already looking at me, you know what I'm saying? It was giving me the go ahead. I had to put on a little visibility vest, and I was literally up under the sun all day, man. I finally found some shade, but this shit fading away. It ain't getting nothing better. It's still hot than a motherfucker, man.
Man, I feel you, man. And listen, so you know how we do on the second part of the week, we do the you know what I'm saying, we do the new joint that we watching.
Right.
I ain't even gonna lie to you, dude. It's about to get hard, man. It seems like
Oh
it
yeah.
ain't really, yeah, man. 'Cause, you know what I'm saying? I haven't really seen anything, man. Like I was trying to find some new stuff the other day, but
Mhm.
hey, I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. So I don't know how I'm gonna answer that question. But you know, I still got a couple more days in the week though. Still got a couple more days. You know what I'm saying? Cause
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I will say this though. I will say this. So I've been watching the hand. What is it? The Handmaid
Handmaid's Tale.
Tales.
Yeah.
I can't watch this shit no more, man.
Yeah. You done
That
gave up
shit,
already.
man, that shit is nuts, man. Like it, it
That's what
is
I heard.
nuts, man. It's like, man, watching this shit, dude. It's like I don't know, but like it's a dark show, and it's also like you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I don't know, but
It's a
it's just
lot
like
going on.
it's. I mean, not necessarily a lot going on. It's it's like this. Basically like the world just took a turn and like so
Yeah.
now the women got to do they basically treating the women like slaves basically, you know what I'm saying, and
Oh.
like basically forcing them, you know what I'm saying, to have sex with these select men and just basically
Mhm.
breed. Like that's basically like what the women are there for, is to like breed,
Yeah, I know
you know
a
what I'm
little
saying.
bit about it because I watched a couple episodes because they in a place like called Gilead or some shit like that, right?
Man, I don't know what they at, man. The shit is weird as fuck, man. You know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
then it's just, dude, they was in there training these women to like lay down, right, and have
Mhm.
another woman holding their wrist because like this one designated woman hold these women wrists while the other dude is smashing. They was teaching them how to do that shit. Like I was like, man, look, this is weird as fuck, man. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
can't,
that's crazy.
man. It's dude. Can you imagine? Right, we're gonna get to the part, but can you imagine? You know what I'm saying? You you lay it like you got one person laying down, and you got another
Mhm.
person, you know what I'm saying, where their head is, and the one that's above their head is holding their hands, and they was like, this is the position y'all gonna be in when it's
Mhm.
time to, you know what I'm saying, to do it or whatever or whatnot. And it's like,
Yeah.
the fuck, man,
I've
this
been in
this shit is,
weird situations like that. Not necessarily that, but I've been in weird situations like that.
dude. Okay, not me. But that it's it's some weird shit, man. So it's like
Yeah.
I done took a break from it, man. And I got 6 episodes in. I mean,
Hmm.
but from what people tell me, they was like once they get to the fourth season, they say some shit go down. But it's like, man, I'm just on season 1, episode 6. Man, that's a long way to go,
Yeah.
man. So it's
And
like,
it's already
I
fucking
don't know.
crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's crazy as fuck. But what we
Yeah.
doing today is not. This fucking shit is hilarious, my guy. Like,
Man, straight comedy.
it's man, I couldn't like.
Dave. Oh shit, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My man is out here yelling at the baseball game. But like, man, I couldn't even like the thing about this movie is one of my favorite movies, especially comedy. Like, I'm not the hugest comedy guy, you know what I'm saying? But like this movie is just one of those ones where it's like, yo, this shit is just fucking hilarious. And it got one of the most funniest scenes ever, like of all time. But for the people, you know what I'm saying, the movie that we doing today, you know what I'm saying, 2006, this movie is just awesome, man. It's the breakup, man. The breakup, man. You know what I'm saying? Got Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston, you know what I'm saying, Joey Lauren Adams, you know what I'm saying? Got John Ferretti, Jason Bateman, Justin
Yeah.
Long, you know what I'm saying? Your guy. Man, Margaret
Yeah.
Ann made an appearance in here. Vincent Del, how you say his name? Vincent.
The Northfield or Tornado or something like that.
Yeah,
He's Italian.
man. Yeah, Italian dude, man. This shit is this movie is just too funny, dude. It's too funny. It's
Yeah.
like one of those. It's like one of those ones. Now, even though, you know what I'm saying, there are some gems in this
Hmm.
movie because Gary, you know what I'm saying, Gary is like could be like a selfish asshole, but he don't see it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like he don't see the shit until like it's too late. But then there's also like those little things that's in between where you can see like how this shit even came about because like you know what I'm
Right.
saying while you watching the movie like basically this is the like synopsis of the movie. So Gary meets Tanya
Hmm.
at a well Brooke he meets Brooke at a baseball game. You know what I'm saying? Put the lines on her. He get her, so they start dating for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and basically a small fight turned into a big fight. And Brooke thought of the genius idea to break up with Gary just to get him to change. So the
Yeah.
whole movie is basically like Brooke don't want to break up, but she breaks up with him to get him
You
to,
got some
you
more
know what I'm
water?
saying, basically change. And so she does all these tactics to try to get Gary to see like, yo, you missing out on something good. And then it got to a point where they started, sleeping in separate rooms and basically end up selling the condo. But then Brooke tries to finally stop trying to do these other tactics to try to get Gary to, you know what I'm saying, to see where she's coming from and actually asks
Hmm.
Gary out on a date and he don't show up and then they break up. But all the shit that's in between, oh my
It's
God,
comedy.
but
It's pure comedy.
it is comedy, but it is pure comedy. Cause even though like, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of sad because like you watching it and it's like, dude, all you gotta do is do this. But it's like sometimes like and but the thing is I think it can go because like both of them had points. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But even at the end of the day, it was like Gary didn't get the small shit. And like it was so much small shit that he didn't get that it got to a point with Brooke where she's like, yo, I can't take this shit no more. Like, for instance, how the whole argument even started, right? She asks Gary, bring me 12 lemons. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Gary comes home with 3 lemons. and so and so that's how like something that small
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Really turned into a whole big thing. But what it was a combination of other small things that made the request for 12 lemons for three made it a whole thing. So we're going straight to it, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Because this is at the beginning. So the whole reason she needed the 12 lemons was because they was having the dinner where they both of their families was coming together, you know what I'm saying, to break bread, right? So the family comes over and like, everybody is just sitting there talking and Gary says this whole thing about well, no, it wasn't Gary. It was Brooke's mom. So Brooke's mom, it's like, yo, I see you read those what do you call it? I see you read those Francois books or whatever, because the place got a good vibe to it, right? And then Gary was like, oh well, it'd be a better vibe, if we had the pool table. And she was like, I told you we'd get a pool table when we get a bigger place. And he was like, oh well, we could just push the dining room, we could just put the dining table into the living room. And she was like, so we're gonna have a dining room table in the living room, and then and so then right, so he just ended up giving up on that. So then the dad comes up with, oh my God, with the most dad joke ever. This motherfucker says, all right, it's time for the joke of the day. And he was like, knock, knock. He was like, he said, who's there? He said, oh, what was the stupid ass joke? Fuck. The damn joke is slipping my mind. Um, he said not usually, and then he was like, not usually who? He was like, I don't usually do this, but would you like to? He said, I'm not usually knocking, but would you like to buy an encyclopedia? It was like, what the fuck? It's like, man, get out of here with this stupid ass joke. But the thing is, the joke is so damn stupid. It's so stupid and it's so simple. Is that like the shit is funny? So then, oh man, what is Brooks' brother's name? I got to get his name right because this dude, Richard. All right, so Richard is talking to Dennis, which is Gary's brother, and so he was like, "Yo, we see the not an ad, but like they got mentioned in a paper or a magazine or something because they run this Three Brothers tour guide place. So they do these tour guides, you know what I'm saying? Dennis is the oldest brother and he's kind of like the one that's running everything. Like he's the one that does the books, he's the one that take care of everything, make sure that everything is good. And his brother, they got a younger brother, he's just kind of just there to be there, right? And then Gary is the middle brother and Gary is a talent. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to this business, because Gary has a point. Gary has a point when he say people sign up in advance, people wait around the corners to see me. But like I say, there is this ego thing that goes on with Gary. So anyway, so they're like, yo, we seen this thing in the paper about the Three Brothers thing. And he was like, yeah. He's like, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to take over land. He said we're trying to do land, water, and
Land,
air.
air, and sea.
And so then he's like, he says, he said, well, we only at the ground part right now. He said, but we're gonna get there. I was a little shit. And then Richard is like, he said, I just love the way your face lights up. He's like, you just so ambitious when you're talking about your business. And he said, that's just like me, but it's with singing. He's like, he's like, he's like, he said, I have a group called the Tone Rangers. and then, and then this motherfucker say, and so then he starts like singing. And then like everybody just sitting there looking at him. And so he was like, okay, so that still didn't work. And so he was like, well, the only way we could do it, he said, we just got to do it as a group. So he has his dad start doing the drums. And then he has his mom do something else. And then he goes to Gary. He said, Gary, on the kick drum, come, on the kick drum. Gary, Gary's in the house. Hey, but that shit is so fucking funny. But so then Gary's like, he finally just like, yo, he's like, he said, I'm more of a person. I just like to sit back and watch. I'll let y'all do all of that, and I just do the watching. He was like, that's okay, Gary, because it's your prerogative. And so, so this motherfucker goes to Brooke, and then Brooke starts do 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 do. So they start doing that shit. So he's still going around the table. And then the all-time part in the world, boy, this is the absolute funniest shit I've probably almost ever seen in cinema. This motherfucker got in Carrie's face and said, lose yourself. Hey, yo, the look on Gary's face. Oh, my God. Yo, Vince Vaughn.
No, he said,
man, you sound like a straight robot, my guy. I didn't get any of that. So, listen, you are definitely. Hey, man, you remember? Oh man, you wasn't on that pod yet. You wasn't on the pod yet. So we had did. So when we did the farewell episode on the Stolen Time podcast, right? So before you got in, let me see. Casey was having some internet issues, right? So he was having some internet issues. Sinclair was having some internet issues as well. Because see, Sinclair was driving, and you know, Casey just lived out in the sticks. So the way that the StreamYard was set up, me, Candace, and Jamal, we were at the top, and Casey and Sinclair was at the bottom. And so I was like introducing the podcast, like, you know, so I started the podcast. So I was like, yo, you know, Candace, we'll start with you. How you feeling? You know, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? JD, how you feeling? Boom, boom, boom. And then, cause Casey, like, stuff was going in and out. Like, he would back out and he would come back in. And so then I was like, Sinclair, man, like, how you feeling? And then his internet was messed up. And then Jamal said, yo, man, this bottom row is killing us.
Can you hear me now?
That shit, yeah, I can hear you. Hey, that's what that shit reminded me of, boy, because you was trying to come in with some heat, and I ain't hear a damn thing.
I know, but I'm over here laughing because when you got to talk about the brother when he was at the table talking about come when the kick drum come. I forgot he told the mom. He walked to the mom. He said tap tap tappy tap 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 tap.
He said, Gary, hey, on the kick drum, come on the kick drum. Gary,
weak, bro.
Hey, he said, Gary in the house. Hey, that motherfucker said, Gary said, man, he said, look, I'm more of a watcher. He's like, Gary, that's your prerogative. Hey, but that shit had me dying laughing, boy. Like, I wasn't even in the mood.
The whole movie, though.
Man, you ain't kidding, boy, because I wasn't even in the mood, boy, but I could not help but to laugh at that shit, because that shit get me every time, boy. I'm like, lose yourself. Oh, man. Hey, boy, that shit was fucking hilarious. That's the all-time part. So, man, and then I'm going to tell you another part that gets me, man, because I'm not going to do this shit like we did last week. And this is the thing. All right. So I'm not, and when I say this, I'm not gonna tell everybody the formula, right? But when we first started doing this shit, we just kind of like,
we
was doing like we went through the whole movie, and then you was like, yo, we ain't gotta do that shit, and then my dumb ass be doing it anyway. Sometimes it just be so damn hard. But so this is the part. This is one of my favorite parts, right? So they had an argument or whatever, and so Gary told Brooke, he was like, my hours are gonna get crazy like this. He was like, and I ain't got nothing to do but sleep in tomorrow. And so then this motherfucker is in no sleep. And then you just start hearing this singing. And so this motherfucker walk into the room,
Oh, bro,
and Richard's in there with the Tone Rangers, and they're singing Heat Wave, Boogie Nights. And so he was like, so he was trying to tell Gary to join in. And Gary was like, yo, he said, move this thing out. He was like, well, he said, from what Brooke told me, he said, you don't have jurisdiction in here. He said, she told me to stay in this room and we can practice or whatever. So he was like, move this group out. And he took that, what was that thing he was using? It's that little instrument that he had. I forget what that thing is called.
He said, you don't just grab a man's kazoo out his hands in the middle of a A minor.
He said, no, he said, when he in a funky groove.
Oh, yeah,
hey,
a funky groove.
Hey, he chopped him in the throat, and then he tripped him up. And so, no, that ain't even my funniest part. This is the funniest part. The funniest part is when Brooke got home, and this motherfucker sitting there.
He got peas on his neck.
He got ice on his neck, and he got some tissue in his nose. And so she come around the corner, and she couldn't help but to laugh. That was the part that got me, because she allowed a little laugh. He was like, he said, so she was like, what happened? And then he was like, oh, so that's how you want to play it? He said, I can play it just like Lionel Richie, baby, all night long. So she said, look, I told the Tone Rangers that they have to stay in my room and just, all this little stuff. And he was like, he said something. He called her Tonya Harding, my guy. I was like, hey, this motherfucker's stupid, boy. Like, you ain't gonna get it unless you know who Tonya Harding is. Yeah. All right. So then she was like, if you want to play it like that, he said, I could bring the guys from my neck of the woods. He was like, it can get real ugly around here. That shit. Hey, man. Oh, my God. Vince Vaughn, his comebacks, dude, are the all-time greatest, but like, come on, man. He said we could play it like Lionel Richie, baby, all night long. Come on, man. Come on. That's all time.
I wonder how much of that was like improvised. You know what I'm saying? Like just straight off the dome, because a lot of that stuff, bro, ain't no way they had all that in the script, man. They had to let him fly off the handle, bro. They
had to. Tonya Harding, come on, man. Ain't nobody coming up with that in the writing room. Right. That shit was fucking hilarious, boy. Like, see, for people don't know, Tonya Harding, that's the old girl who that girl name she hit. She hit that girl with a damn with a bat. So because she knew she wasn't gonna win with a pipe, because she knew she wasn't gonna win the a gold medal. Like, she knew she couldn't fuck with old girl. And so she hit her with a pipe. Man, that's a crazy movie, by the way. I did a podcast on that shit. I Tonya, you ever seen that shit?
Yeah, that shit was good.
That shit was good, man. It was good. I did a pod on that. But like, yeah, man, he has like the all-time comebacks, man. What's one of your favorite scenes, man? Or did I cover it already?
Oh no, you ain't get there yet, bro. That was of course one of my favorites, though. I ain't gonna lie, because that's one of the best parts of the movie. But one of my favorite scenes is when they playing the game. They got the game like.
Oh
shit! They playing Pictionary, and he was trying to a boot or something like that.
She was trying to do a stop.
Yeah, she kept saying
shoe.
Like, everything was like, it's not shoe. You keep saying shoe. I keep saying no. It's not it. It's like, why do you keep saying the same thing? Hey, bro, that shit was funny as hell, bro.
Hey, no. Then you skipped over the part though. This motherfucker, the one dude tried to grab his ruffles, said, "Don't grab my ruffles. Those are my ruffles." He's like, I put that ruffle back. Oh man, that must said. She said, "Okay, with my mounting. She was like, "Okay, I hear you." And then he said, "Okay, shoot." He was like, "Okay, smaller shoe." He said, "Little big shoe." He said, "Shoes on a prairie or something." And so then when she was like, "It's a sock, asshole," and then hey, but that joke was so hilarious when she said, "Man," he said, "You got the Picasso part down." He said, "You got the Picasso part down." He said, "Cause you
Right.
crazy as hell." He said, "But now all you gotta do is chop your ear off, and you'll be good." Hey, man. Hey, that shit was crazy, boy. That shit was so crazy. I like that part though too. I like that part too. And then like they had the whole sit down, and the Jason Bateman was the realtor, and he was like, cause Gary, he said, so what are y'all gonna do about this living situation? And he's like, he says, well, what I think should happen. He was like, I think Brooke should leave, and I keep the
Yeah.
condo, and she pay me some kind of penalty for all the work that I do. I was like, what the fuck? She said a penalty. Hey, boy, that joke is hilarious. I like that part too. I like that part too. But man, but this is the thing though. When which part was that? That one part when they was hold on, what had happened? Because when she so she went out with the one dude after they was playing Madden, right? So they was playing Madden on the game. Because she thought that because the first dude that came, he wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, attractive. He was like a nerd or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So she get a more attractive dude to come over, but come to find out, him and Gary now linked up.
They done
You
linked
know what I'm
up.
saying? Yeah. So then she gets home and so her and Gary was having an argument about family. And then she said, she was like, your family is so perfect, your brother's a pervert. And then
Hmm.
he was like, well, what about your sister? And she was like, don't. She's like, but listen, my sister has been through a lot. He said,
Yeah, a lot
of
of guys.
dick. He said, of dick. And she was like, she said, don't do that. And he said, she slept with the whole Arizona's offensive line. Hey, boy. Hey, and then he said, and then when he said that he said his sister been through. How can I miss that part? Because I'm telling you, this is improv. Ain't no way this is in the script, right? So
One hundred
I just
percent.
did
The
it.
whole
I
shit
just
gotta be,
did it.
bro.
I did a disservice because this is what she said when she was like, "Your brother's a pervert," and then he was like, and then he said, "But what about your sister?" And then she said something about she's been through a lot, and he said of dick, and then all of this stuff. But he said, "Okay, Lassie." He called this girl Lassie. My God, I was like, "What the hell?" Like that came
Yeah.
out of no. It's so off the cuff for somebody to call another motherfucker Lassie. Yo, I'm telling you, but this dude is all time funny, man. I love Vince Vaughn, man, because Vince
Yeah,
Vaughn
man.
got
He
that
comedy,
dry
bro.
humor. He got that
Yeah.
dry humor, dude, and it's just like it's like it's around stuff where it's not anything. He don't. I think what makes his joke so good is the fact that it, he's pulling from a place where you can get the joke. You know what I'm saying? Like the Tonya Harding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what happened in that situation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, Lionel Richie, all night long. That was his greatest hit by itself. You know what I'm saying? When
Right.
he wasn't with the Commodores. So it's like, I'm saying, calling her Lassie, even though I didn't watch that show, but I knew about damn Lassie. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like his jokes are like they just hit, man. He hit every time, dude. Every time.
Yeah, man. Like I think he's one of the most underrated comedic actors. Cause you know what I'm saying. He got some stuff where he really be going off, man. Like Wedding Crashers was one of them where he saying,
Hmm.
did a great job. And then what was the other one? Old School. Old School was a good one too.
Well, I would say for me, the first movie that comes to mind is Dodgeball.
Yep, Dodgeball was a great one.
But then the other movie that comes to me is Couples Retreat.
Hmm. That was
That
funny.
shit, That was funny. That shit was funny. And he's
That
the
shit was
same
hilarious
person. Like the same person
every
that
time.
he is in, but especially in this. The breakup and couples retreat, he's the same person.
Hmm.
He's the
Yeah,
arrogant dude that only does what he wants to do, and he think that he don't have any problem. When come to find out, he
he
the
the
one
problem.
to be having the biggest problem
Yeah,
because
he the
he,
actual problem.
yeah, like what he didn't realize was, and it took his best friend to finally tell him, and he's like, that's when it finally hit Gary because Gary didn't see that
Hmm.
everybody does what he wants. And so his friend that works at the bar, he's like, he said, man, he said, you just who you are. He was like, what that's supposed to mean? He was like, when the last time we been to a Sox game? He was like, and not when they play the Cubs, a Sox game. And he was like, we always do what you want to do. He was like, that's who you are. He was like, you've always been that way. And remember earlier in the film, Brooke was like, when have we done something that I want to do? Because she wanted to go to the ballet, but he would never go to the ballet. And she was like, what's the last thing we did? He was like, we went to Ann Arbor. And she was like, I didn't want to go to Ann Arbor to a football game. I went because you wanted to go. And he was the same person in couples retreat.
Yeah,
But couples retreat ain't as
100%.
funny as this though. It's not as funny as this though. But it's
Well,
but it's
I
funny.
think because Couple Retreat had way more people in it to share the screen with, and then
Hmm.
with Breakup, it was more so just really just him and Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, but his brother though, he he did a good job as well. What's his brother name? Dennis, because Dennis
Yeah.
kept asking him for the tour logs. Man, that shit was so funny. Hey, it was one time. It was one time. Him and his other brother was out there fixing the bus. This motherfucker walks out the door and just says tour logs, just out of nowhere. Like, hey, no, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Y'all straight? He just said tour logs. I was like, what the
Right.
fuck? And then, like when they was arguing in the office, and he was like, "Man, if you want to cry, go cry to mom." Gary was like, Gary said, "There's nobody's crying." Like he's like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Okay, man, I broke up. Broke up." And like he does these head gestures, man. It's just like, dude, when I'm telling you, like face acting, him and Dennis
Yeah.
did the best job in this movie. Like he like even though Dennis' role wasn't that huge, but it played a huge part like in the movie because like even when Richard was like the way your face lights up when you're talking about your business, it's like he does this thing with his face. And I'm sorry, every time I see my guy, and I know he probably wouldn't like this, but every time I see him, man, I cannot stop thinking about Full Metal Jacket, man. Like he's he was private pal, man.
Yeah.
But man, it's this movie, man. It got so many lines in it, man. It's
Yeah, it
like
got
it's
hella
like
quotables in it, bro.
man, I can go on and on, man. Like when they had when he was playing the Madden
Oh,
and he
bro,
was
that shit
playing with
was
that
so
little
funny, bro.
kid. Hey,
He,
he said
he said, "What
he
are you
was
like
he was
12?" He said, "Actually, yes, I
he,
am."
he was like he said look he said man he said look, you got all day to play this. He was like I got a real job, you know what I'm saying? All this other stuff. Hey,
He said, "I got
but
real
him on
problems.
that.
I gotta pay bills. I'm out here in the real world."
Hey, but that joke was so funny. He was like, "Wow, you beat a 12-year-old."
No,
And then his mom
I'm gonna
like,
tell you what was funny, bro. I'm gonna tell you what's funny, but the funny part was after they played Madden and shit, right? And they got in the taxi. So once they got in the taxi, she was like, she got to talk to him. He was like, "Man, Gary is just the best." You know what I'm saying? He was like, I mean, that dude is just all time. She was so heated, bro.
she was hot, but she was like, "Nope, I can't do this. Pull it over." She said, "I can't do this." And then
Hey, bro,
she
she was
think it's
heated.
over. He said, "Yo, can you tell Gary to give me a call?"
Oh, bro, that shit was funny as fuck, bro. Then what was the one she went to her boss and told her to get the Telly Savalas.
Oh, Marilyn Dean.
Man, she came out that thing soaking wet. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, but then this is the thing though. How do you skip over this part? So Justin Long, what's Justin Long naming this? So Justin Long is
Oh yeah, he was the receptionist.
yeah, he was a receptionist, right? So he's Christopher. So he's trying to
Yeah,
cheer her up. So he drew lips on his hand and stuff. And he was like, singing the song, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands and shit, right? So, so he's trying to cheer her up. And Marilyn Dean walked in while he was trying to cheer her up. She said, pack up your shit and go home. Hey, boy,
he
the
said
face
he
he
said
made.
he no. He said. Hey,
Hey,
bro.
boy, that shit was
That shit.
hilarious, bud.
He was so hurt, man. That nigga took a deep breath and was like, "Oh my god, that shit had me rolling, bro."
Oh,
Hey man,
man.
he had me weak, bro.
Hey, but I'm telling you, boy, that shit was hilarious. But she said, pack up your shit and go home. That shit was hilarious, man. I'm telling you. And no, and then no. So no, you remember when they was at the bowling alley, right?
Bro,
And
straight
so she was like, Gary, this she
comedy,
said, she
bro.
said, she said, this is couples bowling. She said, don't you think we need to have a talk? He said, yeah, he said, how your gutter balls are bringing us to the bottom. And then and then and so then she was like, I think we should do a vote. And so she's getting everybody to raise their hands. And so then the one dude raised his hand. He's like, he said, you need to watch Band of Brothers. and then and so he's gonna leave. He was like, Gary, he was like, I need your shirt. He's like, can we get doc 10 pins if everybody's not in uniform? He's like, but the shirt has Gary on it. He's like, I know, but we actually know a guy named Gary. He's like, he's not as tall. He said, but his name is Gary. And he was like, well, I'm gonna need my wrist band back. So he's taking off the shirt, and then he's like, give me my wristband. He was like, I hope your wrist snaps. And so then she said, look,
That
I got
nigga took
Gary
his
right while he took his shirt
shirt
off.
off.
She said, I got Gary right while I want him. She said, what, shirtless in the parking lot?
He made him take
Oh man.
the shirt off.
Hey, boy, Gary took his shirt off, but that shit was so funny, bud. He said, y'all gonna ride gutter ball to the finals? Oh man, but that shit was too funny, but no, but even at the beginning, man, when he was macking the brook and he said if you're not gonna marry her, then why waste your time? He was like, he said, you gonna be with the dude with the plaid pants? It's like, why you gotta clown the dude plaid pants, man, with his shirt tucked in? Hey, that shit was fucking funny, but cause see, I be liking the small shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't even gotta be the shit that's like obviously funny, but it be like that under the breath stuff that really be funny. Like when Jason Bateman was talking to them about selling the house, and he was like, he said, because I'm your friend, I'm not gonna take commission for it. And then he was like, but it's company policy. I kind of got to do it. I was just letting you know if I could, I would waive it, but I can't waive it. And he said, I got to get back to my wife. She's so happy about the win. It's like, what the fuck? Y'all are happy about a win from Pictionary? Like, come on, man. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. So it just be like little shit like that, man, that I be enjoying, man. So it's so much of that small shit that's in this movie. It's wild, my guy. It is wild. Oh shit. I guess you stuck on mute. And now he's gone. Now you back?
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Okay, okay, I hear you, I hear you.
Apologize to the listeners, man. I got the horrible reception out here, unfortunately.
Yes, sir. I see it looked like you at a different spot this time.
Yeah, we on the smaller field this time. Usually we at the big park, but they got like a smaller little venue with two fields for like the younger kids and stuff. So unfortunately, we got to come out here. I don't like this spot though, but it is what it is.
Yes, sir, man. So, man, what else is iconic in here, man?
You said what, bro?
I said, so what else is iconic out here?
Um, iconic, man. We still talking about the movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I just make sure. Um, what else was it? What else was it? Oh, where he had the strippers. I forgot about the strippers.
Oh, he had the strippers.
Man, he had the
Strip poker.
strippers come in. Yeah, he had the strippers come in because you know what I'm saying. He was like, "Fuck it, bro. We gonna have a night." He tried to go back to his old self with his brother. They went out and shit. He wasn't feeling it, so they brought the strippers back. He got drunk, and that was the end of it, man. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm through with this shit." That nigga brought the strippers back, had a ball. She walked in broken hearted. That was another one of my favorite scenes. Cause
Okay,
man,
and that got dark.
cause he, you know what I'm saying, like through the whole movie, bro, he really wasn't getting no W. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to take his shirt off at the bowling alley. He had to get beat up by
True.
our fairy brother. Then he had to deal with the come on the kick drum at the table. Then then they lost in Pictionary. And then they were talking about selling the spot. And then he lost out on that. Like, bro, he was just losing through the whole movie, bro. So he finally got his chance to get his W, man, and it was a good one.
Wow. But the thing is though, like even so let's say he took let's say he got a victory there. But like even I think that he tried to play it off, but the look on her face,
Hmm.
I think he still felt like he took an L, man.
I mean,
Because
he did later on, like right when she walked in and seen it, he definitely did. But overall, he took the W because you know what I'm saying. She finally knew how it felt to you know what I'm saying feel what he was feeling. Because through the whole movie, she was getting in his ass.
she was, but like there was some reasons too. But like I
Hmm.
say, the thing is like the whole shit could have been avoided with
Yeah.
communication. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
But Gary had to actually realize what his issue was and compromise because his biggest thing was Gary did not want to compromise for anybody. Like he didn't care who it was. Yo, I'm doing what I want to do, and you got to ride this train with me. Like his friend told him. And so then when she invited him to the show to go see the 98s or whatever the motherfuckers were called, the
Yeah.
Crazy Eights or something. So he was like, at first when she asked him, he was like, "Well, how much you want for the ticket?" And she was like, "No, I'm going." And so then he was like, "So who's gonna be there?" And she's like, he said, "It's gonna be the two of us." And she was like, "Yeah, with two other thousand people, all this little shit." So he says he's gonna come. She leave his ticket. He never shows. So
Hmm.
then when he shows up home, he's like, "Yo, tell me how much that ticket costs, and I'll repay you for it." And like she's crying. And
Hmm.
so then like that's when she starts really telling him the issue. And he was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me that before?" And she was like, "I have." And he was like, "Never like that though." And so now he's trying to salvage it. And she's like, "Yo, like, no, like I'm done." And
Right.
so then I think that with all of that transpiring, because the thing is, neither one of them wanted to break up, but it just got to a point where, you know what I'm saying? He kept taking her for granted and she felt
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And so then with all of that selfishness and all of that, because see, it was with everywhere. Like it wasn't just with her. It was with his brothers. Like his brother kept asking him for the tour logs. And he was like, "Yo, I don't," he's like, "Why you can't do the tour logs?" He was like, "Yo, because that take time away from my family." He was
Right.
like, he's like, "I do the maintenance, I do the numbers, I do this, I do that." And he was like, "Yo, what do you do?" And he was like, "I'm the talent. I'm the people that got people waiting around the corners, all this type of stuff." But this is the thing, just because people are there to see you, that's still one thing. Like
Right.
this whole engine is running because of the business. Like you ain't the business by yourself. And
Exactly.
Gary was seeing it like, "Yo, I'm the talent." So that's just like when you look, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not in our case because we just You know what I'm saying? It's just me and you. But like when you look at these people, like you know what I'm saying, like the brilliant idiots or whatever, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got Charlemagne and you got Andrew. They're the talents. I mean, lately Wax been on there and Taylor's always talking now. But like
Mm-hmm.
you got Alex on the camera. You know what I'm saying? You got Chris, doing what he do in the
Yeah.
background. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a lot of other people that's doing, things to keep the show going. And
Right.
Gary looked at it like, yo, I'm the talent, so I shouldn't have to do the tour logs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so Gary was so stuck in his own ways and so stuck in his head that it took this breakup to get him to realize, like, yo, you need to change your ways because you selfish.
Right. Yeah, man. It's. I mean, that's really just the moral of it all. Is just how what I'm saying, in a relationship, you can get comfortable, you can get complacent. You know what I'm saying, and you can take a lot of the small stuff for granted. And really, like you said, it's all about communication. You know what I'm saying. You got to talk to each other. You got to, let your feelings be known. And you gotta, let people know, how you feel or what you think, stuff like that too. So, I mean, at the end of it all, like you said, it could have been fixed with, just them actually communicating back and forth. I feel like with her, if she would have just told him, exactly how she felt, and then with him, he had a lot of stuff to fix, for real, like, cause he was just in all actuality, he was an asshole for real.
Yeah, he really was. Because like, even if you don't like the ballet, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We all do some shit, you know what I'm saying, for our mate that we like, I don't really feel like doing this shit. But
Right.
you know what I'm saying, they like it. So I'm gonna do it because they like it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they end up doing shit. Because this is what you also gotta realize. They gonna, majority of the time do some shit that you like that they don't like. And
100%.
maybe they don't express it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And he kept expressing like, "Yo, I don't want to go to the ballet," and she's just
Yeah.
like, "Yo, but I like it though." You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And that's taking the other person for granted because he's not thinking about, just like she said when she was like, "Yeah, we went." He was like, "We went to Ann Arbor," and she was like, "You think that's fun for me to hear screaming kids and a leprechaun flipping back and forth?" She was like, "That's not fun for me, but I do it for you." You know what I'm saying? And Gary didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? And then it took, like I said, it took for that because he didn't. When this is when he got humbled though. When he got humbled, when he made that dinner, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she brought that dude in, but he didn't know what the dude was
Hmm.
there for. And then he was
Right.
just like, "Fuck it, like I'm trying to save this relationship." So he finally does what she been wanting him to do from the beginning, but it got to the point where it was too late. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, "Yo, I've had enough." You like I can't,
Hmm.
what I'm saying, I can't live like this no more. And he got humbled. And that's when he finally went back, like, what I'm saying, he went back to their shop or whatever, and he finally did the damn tour logs.
Yeah.
And his brother came in, what I'm saying, early as usual. And, he gave him the tour logs and like he gave him a hug because I think that like that hug was like, and he told him, "Yo, look, I'm sorry for taking so long to give you the tour logs." And I thought that if Brooke never would have did what she did, he would continue as that same person that he was.
Right. I mean, so yeah. At the end of the day, she actually accomplished what she was trying to accomplish. I think it's just the way she had went about it wasn't, what I'm saying, probably the best way because at the end of it all, what I'm saying, they actually end up breaking up and she actually ended up losing what she wanted in the end anyway, and so did he.
True, true. Because the thing is like that tactic don't work for everybody. Like you can't just say even the way that she broke up. Like that's not, I didn't even really take that as a breakup.
Right.
But the thing is, the reason she even said that because she was expecting. Because remember, she stood by the door waiting on him to walk in there to say like, "Yo,
Hmm.
like what the fuck you talking about?" She was waiting for that, and he just
Right.
left. But the thing is, even when he came home, she was laying in the bed. She wasn't asleep. So like, she just wanted him to come in there and talk about it, but
Hmm.
he wouldn't do it. So she figures she listens to Marilyn Dean on saying like, go get yourself, waxed and all this type shit. Show him what he missing, and and have another dude, come in and what I'm saying. And that's don't work for everybody because some people that like and what Gary did, Gary shut down. Like, oh,
Yeah,
so you going out with dudes? All right,
yeah,
well, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And see, and that's what happened. Like everybody's not gonna respond the way that you think they're gonna respond. So Brooke,
exactly.
she does have some blame because that's not the best way to get somebody to see something. Because this is the thing, this movie never mentioned no therapy. You know what I'm saying? It never mentioned, bringing in a mediator to actually come in and talk them throughout their problems and all that shit. Like she just basically went to her friend and she went to Maryland and took advice from them. And then you got Gary over here taking advice from his crazy ass friend at the damn bar when he's trying to tell him to get some kind of spyware to get her damn emails because he swear that she's with some dude and she wasn't with no dude. So it was like, and then he was like, hey, you can come and stay at my house. You know what I'm saying? To cool off. He was like, no, I'm not leaving my house. And he was like, man, he's like, no, you're staying at my house. Like just, that dude was so stupid in this movie, man. What was his name in this movie? Johnny
You
O.
talking about John
Johnny O.
Favreau?
Yeah, man, he was hilarious, man.
Yeah, man, but you know what I'm saying? It's about time for the firefighters, brother.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Yoga fire! Yoga flame!
So you go ahead, go first, man.
I'm gonna go first, man. I'm gonna give it a 4.5, man. The the cast was great. I don't have any complaints with it. I think Vince Vaughn did a phenomenal job. Jennifer Aniston did a phenomenal job. The only reason I'm giving it a 4.5 is because I mean the movie is called Breakup, so they were supposed to break up. But it's just the fact of like nobody never mentioned any kind of like couples therapy. Nobody mentioned, trying to bring in a mediator in. Like it was just like there was some other tools that could have been entered to try to prevent this thing. But that's the whole point of the movie. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give it a 4.5 though, man. But at the end of the day, man, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it was a super dope movie, man. I give it 4.5 as well. With the comedy, you know what I'm saying, the drama that was in it, the cast was real good in it, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you ain't do nothing but laugh throughout the whole thing. So I mean, you can't really go wrong with that.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So I know we still live, but should we even mention why the next film is the next film, or should we just, what I'm saying, do our regular coming soon?
Nah, we could just do the regular coming soon.
All right, man. Well, this next movie that we got coming up, man, I'm just gonna say my favorite scene, and I know ain't nobody gonna get it because it's just one of those scenes that nobody really think about. And so this motherfucker was walking. He was like, "Man, you got me walking through the desert with your dreadlocks hanging out my parachute." And he was like, "And what the fuck is that smell?" And that motherfucker started kicking his ass. But oh man, that's one of my favorite parts, man, because it's just a little jokey joke, man. That's in the because he was dragging that motherfucker. And he said with your dreadlocks hanging out my parachute. Shit is hilarious.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna be a super good one.
Yes, sir, man. But man, it sounds like things are ramping up over there, man. I'm gonna let you get your shit together, man.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what I'm saying? Thank everybody for tuning in. Thank everybody for listening, man. Y'all already know you can find me at Scoops Bronson on Twitter, Scoops Bronson underscore TV on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Viewer9 Pod. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at VA Pod Watch Group.
Yeah, you can catch me at s.foster on Instagram and Twitter. The 28 minutes or less 28 minutes or less pod on Instagram, 28 minutes or less on Facebook. Let me see. I just put out a 28 minutes or less. It was on the year of the scab. So go check that out. That was episode 47. And also the last episode of the Stolen Time podcast is already done, but it will be coming out on July the 2nd. So be on the lookout for that.
For sure, man. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in and listening. And like they say in Hollywood, man, that's a wrap.
Cut.